This is what I'm talking about. This isn't even the most... this is probably one of the more subtle product placements. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta. This is not Justin anymore, this is Lessons, who's jumping in at episode 4 out of 6. So you're right here buttoned up against the end. I'm gonna obviously guess that you have no idea about what this show is. Alright. So, well, the first thing, obviously, is thank you, Henry, for once again sponsoring another one of these episodes. Mm-hmm. I'm going to read you the description that Henry originally sent to me when they first started asking us to watch this, so that you'll get that idea first. I was actually thinking about requesting a Mamoru Oshii anime. Does that name ring a bell to you at all? Probably will when I get further on here. He's mostly known for super serious stuff like Ghost in the Shell or Angel's Egg, which is amazing, but that's not the only noteworthy part of his career. Aside from basically inventing the OVA with Dalos, his work in comedic anime is also not to be ignored. I haven't seen a lot of Urusei Yatsura. I know what the anime is, I just don't know the name, so I just can't. I'm not good at saying the name. But I love Patlabor's funny side, and more recently Vlad Love was pretty charming as well. Though that seems to be a controversial opinion. So, in 1989, roughly 1 month after Patlabor the movie came out, the first episode of this particular anime was released. It's Gosenzo-sama Banbanzai. I personally love OVAs for allowing the creator more freedom and also for being short most of the time. And this is pretty much the quintessential OVA next to perhaps Fooly Cooly. You're familiar with Fooly Cooly?
I heard it before, yeah.
FLCL? Because it's definitely a contender for most creative anime ever made. There's nothing like this anime, nothing even comparable. It is wholly unique. But unlike Fooly Cooly, Gosenzo is very wordy, and not all of it will immediately make sense. So one really needs to pay attention. Well, it's not like I understood every point the anime was trying to make either. That's not really necessary to enjoy it, for it's also hilarious.
If I see all this about the giant factory, it looks like an iron. And yeah, the kid and the girl that's is in a motor scooter. I tried to get into that anime, but it was like, huh?
I'm not going to say that I fully enjoyed Fooly Cooly. I enjoyed Fooly Cooly to its maximum effect. There are some entertaining bits. There are some confusing bits. It's a weird anime, but I at least watched it all. I watched all of its original thing. They made a second thing for it, and I didn't watch any of that. I had something else here. I'm just going to read to you the plot. I'm just like on the Wikipedia now. But it doesn't spoil anything overtly. At least to the part that we've seen on the show before. So I'm going to read that for you, and then I'm just going to read the character descriptions. So I've already sent you a link to the board. Are you there yet?
Yeah, I'm there.
I'll bring up the board up here too, so people can see what I'm showing you, what I'm looking at. All right, I didn't name the thing. All right. So the plot. The story revolves around a small, normal family known as the Yamata family. A boy named Inumaru, his father Kinikuni, and his mother Tomiko. One day, a beautiful girl with a yellow flower hat at their front door, that wasn't a full sentence, calling herself Maroko Yamato, granddaughter of Inumaru, who travels back in time with a time machine to visit her ancestors. Despite Tomiko's strong refusal to acknowledge her as Yamata, Kinikuni and Inumaru welcome her to stay with them, and the structure of a happy family has begun to collapse. The episodes are told in the form of a play. Well, that's the last line of the plot thing, but I was also going to mention it myself. It has a stage play style element to it, where like all scenes are shot from one angle, so you can see from that front part. Sometimes there's been elements where the character does a one-on-one with the camera. It feels like, where like
Breaking the fourth wall.
Sort of.
Yeah.
They describe their inner thoughts, but they say them out loud and at camera, but not as though they're talking to anybody. Like in that element where like there will be like the first time it appeared on the show, only like a door was in the background, as though you could imagine someone in stage direction just pulled a door out just for the scene. So you have this character in the door. But yeah, if you're looking at the board, you have Inamaru, a teenage boy who dreams of being with a beautiful girl. He immediately falls in love with Maroko when he meets her, despite her being his future granddaughter.
Okay.
I guess there's an element of the story. I think it's only the male family members of the family have a unique birthmark, which is literally a star on their ass. And she has it and he has it, which is the proof that she's her granddaughter or something.
And yet he falls in love.
Yep. It's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a problem in the story as well as from our perspective. So it's a shared problem.
Mm-hmm.
You have Maroko. You'll notice if you zoomed in far enough on the initial shape of the character relations. I've also written down what their actual relation is, family-wise. Because I was going in depth. I was actually trying to keep symmetry, I think, but last episode introduced a guy which really fucked up the symmetry. You have Maroko, Inamaru's granddaughter from the future. The other Yamatos have a hard time accepting this to the point where Tomiko leaves Inamaru in Kinikuni. So the mother left during episode 1 because she was tired of this shit. Kinikuni, Inamaru's lazy father. He tends to get on his son's nerves with his lazy attitude. A funny bit from episode 1 is the son goes down to a local sports store and buys a bat in order to get into a fight with his dad with. And his dad had already visited that sports store, asked the guy selling equipment there what was the best solution to a bat, and bought a golf club. Which seems dumb because that's not the obvious solution to a baseball bat. Let's see. Tomiko, Inamaru's grumpy mother. She always nags and is the first to object to believing that Mariko is from the future. She eventually decides to leave the household as the news is too much for her to bear. At the top, you might notice that the guy on the top in the weird outfit has a red line connecting him to the son, the main character guy. He also has a red line that goes up, and you might notice that the girl from the future also has a red line coming from the bottom. That was my clever way of trying to make it symmetrical.
Oh.
In that he's an enemy to the two of them. That is Bunmei, a man sent by the Agency of Time Administration to arrest Maroko for breaking one of the many laws of time travel. He is can't say that part out loud. Spoiler for myself on that one. Anyway, yeah, it is illegal to go into the past to meet your ancestors. Apparently in the future, that is a taboo that everybody wants to do. Everyone wants to go back. That's why it's called Long Live the Ancestors. They basically, the future society is one of ancestor worship, it feels like. I think it's everybody. Did I miss anybody?
Banmai Tatara? Banai Tatara?
Oh, sorry. The guy who's breaking the symmetry on the board. A man that Tomiko teamed up with in order to find out more about Mariko and save the Yamada family from destruction. He is basically like an investigator. Something about this show is that you will notice... You know what? I'm going to let you notice. I'm not even going to tell you this weird thing that the show visually does. Because you'll figure that one out on your own. But yeah, that is the plot and the cast of characters. Other than that, though, I do have 2 comments to go through here. So I'll see what you can figure out from this. Henry, from episode 3, waiting for a chance to pounce. Ah, man, only halfway through? This is taking so long. By the way, there will be some musical numbers, and they're nothing too grand or anything, but a lot of fun. There is still a rather shallow interpretation, but one could also understand the man with the sunglasses, not the detective. Last episode, there was a guy who was like loaning them money. He's like a loan shark or something. As an actor who plays the role of antagonistic force in different characters, always interrupting the family story. So I guess that's who they were talking about. It's also quite valuable to compare this OVA to other shows Oshii worked on. For example, one source I read stated that Gosenzo-sama was inspired by his time on Urusei Yatsura. In that case, Maroko would be a bizarro version of Lum the Invader, in the sense that they both come into a household and create mayhem. Of course, things take a different turn here. Are you familiar? I don't know if I asked you. With Urusei Yatsura? Are you?
I'm not familiar.
Okay, I thought you might have been muted because I saw your mouth make the word no. I didn't hear any noise, though.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Lum the Invader, though, right?
Lum the Invader.
Well, look her up real quick. Google Lum the Invader, or I guess you should take Lum. I'm sure you know the character. You might not know the anime that they're from, though.
Oh, yeah, I seen her.
Yeah, everyone knows. She's classic anime character.
Yeah.
That's what she comes from, though. Urusei Yatsura.
Oh, okay.
I know. I've never seen Urusei
Yatsura
either.
Yatsura. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know this. I haven't seen it, but I do recognize the name. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know the story of it, but I've never watched it. It's original or it's renewed one. The fact it got renewed just gives you anybody who's ever watched an old anime hope. You know, that they renew that one. But we all know who Lum is. We've all seen pictures, even if we've never seen the anime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have much comment to that comment other than the fact that they're bringing up the fact that one of the characters in the show might be playing multiple roles as an antagonistic force, which explains the fact that they look like somebody else in the show. So, well, that's something I brought up. The guy who shows up, who's like mafia guy who they borrowed money from, is the only time he appears so far. Looks like the time travel police guy. I was like, oh, maybe that's one of his ancestors. And I was like, the indication here might be that it's just him playing other roles in the stage play that is this anime. All right. And lastly, we have one from Failfisher from the same episode. One of the words the mother character used here is Megitsune, which means female fox or vixen, literally. Figuratively, it means a devious woman. One aspect associated with fox spirits in East Asian folklores is trickery. I'm gonna miss Justin reacting to this anime, but I'll express my support to Lessons jumping in.
Thank you.
See, you already got fans.
I guess.
You guess, like, you don't like fans.
I didn't say that. I
guess.
I'm not used to it. That's what it is.
All right. Well, I mean, all that said, what are your expectations going in?
It's gonna be wacky, weird Japanese anime. Which Japanese anime can be wacky and weird in a drop of a heart. Oh, a heart.
Drop of a heart. That's saying that we all say. You know, I'll be saying it from now on to get used to that.
Drop of a heart, yeah.
I'll be saying it at the drop of a heart.
Yeah. Just like some people need a killing. And we'll see what happens. So, it could be off-putting or it could be fine. I have to see it and see what happens. Although I saw the first screen and went like, huh?
Well, I'll also preface this for you. The very start of every episode so far has been confusing as fuck. I mean, it's not. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. It doesn't appear to be related to the story at all. There'll be a narrator that will tell us something weird about either like the animal kingdom or something. At first, I thought it had something to do with the show, and maybe it does, because like the first one was about the birds, where the one will replace the eggs of the nest with its own birds, so the other bird has to take care of it. I was like, is that like a metaphor for the time traveling character who replaced the mother? Oh god, that is the metaphor. I'm just realizing.
There you got it. There you go.
Oh no, I've mentioned it like 100 times now, and I think it's only just occurred to me that saying it out loud is literally what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what the first part. So if you're seeing like a weird thing on the screen, the show does have like a weird animation style where like the characters I've described before as like maybe looking like puppets, like because the joints, they have weird looking joints. They're not like animated as puppets, but the joints kind of look like puppet joints. But yeah, the opening is going to be weird. Don't write off the anime for the weird opening. Wait until we get after the opening credit thing, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, I feel like every episode thus far has been self-contained enough that all you need to know is like the real short description of what happened last episode, and everything will still make sense in compartmentalization.
Okay.
All right. Well, I guess let's go ahead and hop on into it then.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
今日もまた核融合の葬らげ遥かな中空に自らを燃やし続ける生命の源太陽そしてその眼下の大地ではな
Is this going to be the first episode that proves me wrong? No, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I feel like one of the last things I remember seeing was a motorcycle, so I thought for a second it might have been actual the show, and it's not.
I'll
be honest, my first guess was actually going to be Roadrunner.
地上走行速度は最高で毎時 60km。現存する鳥類の中にあっては文句なく最大の鳥である。
Your job is going to be figuring out what any of this has to do with the episode.
と呼んだこの会長は鉄を食うとか。頭隠して尻隠さず。とうとうの奇妙な習性で広く世に知られているが、無論これらは全て嘘である。
I was about to say, I thought that was untrue.
Yeah.
It was like a game I played.
This is very NES. Like literally, this is just like an NES game.
Well, I mean, I've played Final Fantasy 1 through 3.
With all the windows and the, you know.
Yeah, which is like there's like a Sega game that I played. This was reminding me more of, but I don't know the name of it. I don't know, that'd be the opinion of the father of this show. Except for the fact that they were both fighting over the granddaughter. which will be future identifiable.
Oh, a beach episode. Okay. But she's wearing clothing that looks like she's from the 19th century?
I don't know. So far, the show has felt like it's been in the era that it was made in. Yeah.
Although, where, women having...
Oh, it's the mom.
Yeah, the mom wearing to protect their skin from the sun is not unheard of.
I mean,
parasols are a thing.
I've only seen her at night before, or inside during the day.
Yeah. So that's a detective who looks like he was a reject from Miami Vice.
His
and
office.
Probably not wearing any.
His office is a giant camera.
Either. Oh, and it doesn't look like he's wearing socks either.
Why, is it something you have a problem with?
No, that's something that apparently someone else has a problem with.
I don't know what kind of freak would have a problem. Who deals that much with foot? Stop paying attention to people's feet so much less. It's weird.
I'm not a foot person. Yeah, he's definitely a reject from a 1980 show.
Again, this was made in the 80s, though. And as I said, most people feel like they're in the 80s here. Except for the obvious weird things.
Is random dude we never seen before, or is it the dad?
At this far away, I can't tell. I think it's probably the dad, though. Dad's a pretty short-rounded dude. Yeah, that's dad.
Now, if I knew Japanese enough kanji to know what is in the back of his jacket in the summer. Okay. No wonder he's so hot. Oh, I guess product placements are a thing now.
You have no idea. Do you see what I'm saying about puppet joint things?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything to be pervy about.
To be fair, she's usually like wearing a sundress or something. Also, our time cop.
Yeah. Can the Battle of Time reach its end?
He's blacklisted as the Bible.
Damn. Wait, that means that he's a biblical character then? If his blacklist is the Bible, that means his ancestors are in the Bible. And he could go back to biblical times.
I don't know. Could just be nonsense.
True.
So, I mean, if I was going with the Bible thing, it's like Judas then.
A very effective cop is only doing is singing a song in a beach with a random piano, I guess. In fact, this feels more like the intro or outro credits from the entire show, right? Like, this is what you would expect.
As Henry said, there's going to be fascism called freedom. As Henry just said, there's going to be a couple of musical numbers, and before this, there haven't been any, so I guess Henry was warning us ahead of time. This feels like a Japanese version of, what's the cocaine spell? What's the guy's name who does the, Family Guy made fun of him all the time. Just singing what he sees.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's very much, wow, that is very much dating itself with with perestroika being part of the lines of the song. Like, which time is it? Oh, it could be anywhere between 1986 to 1991. Yeah, or 92. When did the Soviet Union fall? 1992, I think. Yeah.
Oh god. You know, I brought it up more often than you'd think, but I don't actually know off the top of my head. I don't remember, rather. This is what I'm talking about. This isn't even the most... this is probably one of the more subtle product placements. No, I mean, before, we had whole conversations in front of a drink coat sign that was about 80% the size of the screen.
Why is he tied like that?
Well, we've seen his dad is back in the scene, so probably his dad tied him down so he wouldn't run away. 2 episodes ago, they ran away from the house, him and the granddaughter. Last episode, they were living together by themselves.
He looks like an investigator.
No, I'm pretty sure that's the time cop, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like the time cop.
It's either that or it's, as Henry also described, the one guy filling a bunch of different roles.
And he owes 5 million yen, so it's about...
No, that's the guy I was talking about before.
Yeah.
The mafioso type of guy who they owe a lot of money to.
About $50,000?
I don't know what the conversion rate would be to the 80s.
So $50,000 in the 80s would be about $75,000 today. Close to $100,000, I think.
生活感のないリゾート施設でのライトでスポーティーなアルバイト感覚の軽労働。爽やかな汗に彩られた2人の夏の。
Last episode, he was also having to convince the granddaughter not to go work at a gentleman's club to help support him. Because, you know, especially he wants her all for himself, so he doesn't obviously want her at the gentleman's club.
こんな寂れた海水浴場の犬小屋同然の浜ジャーでモロコシ焼き続ける日々にどんな物語が可能だって言うんだ。未知なるものの訪れ、あるいは新たな設定による斬新的な展開に物語
Decide to look at a different story that is revolutionary.
実は常に物語の可能性そのものを散奪し続けてきたのだという逆説がまだわからんのか。
Okay.
展開があり、そして必然という名の終局に至る物語の形式はただそれが語られ享受される局面においてのみ偉大であるに過ぎない。真に生きられる物語には資源も展開も終局もない。
I mean, that's take. It's true. A story only exists to depict itself.
この荒廃した海水浴場のこの犬小屋同然の浜茶屋で来るはずのない客のためにモロコシを焼く日々の中にお前自身の物語の可能性を見出せないとするならここがお前の物語の終わるところだ。たとえこの店に客が訪れることがあってもそれは同じロジックの反復をただ
Okay, this is extremely meta.
そのことを忘れるんじゃねえ。
だとしたら俺は一体何を根拠に俺自身を演じるべきなんだ。
簡単なことさ。より劇的なるものを求めてお前の得意技だろうが。
そしてあんたのな。
おじいさま、お客様よ。かしこまりました。
And the dad. So I guess the dad had nothing to do with him getting tied up, as I was previously saying.
レモン、いいか。お前がやらんか。
おじいさまをいじめないでください。私がやります。
いいんだよマルコ、僕がやるよ。
あら。素敵なとこじゃないの。ちょっと。
It feels like they've all wandered here incidentally of one another.
はいはい、ただいま。
へえ、そうなの。ここが大洗海水浴場なのね。家族向け海水浴場のメッカ、そして離れ離れになった家族が再会を果たすという伝説の浜。
As I said, yeah.
ここがその大洗海水浴場なの。
Unless he arranged all this.
お客さん、
Probably.
なんかの間違いじゃないですか。 クラゲの大発生とともに客足も遠のき、今は訪れる人も絶えて久しい裏ぶれた海水浴場。かつてこの地に集った家族たちの記憶だけが寄せては返す。
Because in the first episode, again, she leaves because she can't stand the situation. Second episode, him and the granddaughter leave to get away from the dad to live on their own.
そしてそこに通りすがりの客を装って佇んでいるあなた。お待たせしました。
She's also my favorite character in the whole show. So
あなたの母の民子です。ただいま帰ってまいりました。
Okay.
well, I assume off screen is our hands doing kabuki moves. So
Yeah.
聞こえます。潮騒の底から語りかける過去のささやきが寄せては返す人生の荒波に沈んでいった悲しい家族の物語。
yeah, she's also been regretting coming back to the past because she doesn't want to destroy the family. Again, ancestor worship sort of thing.
Yeah. But can then she not return to the future?
The time machine is hidden in plain sight. However, I don't think it's here. It was
A car, a building.
it actually was a blimp, but I can't remember the company name I was on. Coca-Cola hasn't been our only product placement in front of our faces. The other one has been a camera company. Like I said, the inspector or the detective guy's office was a giant camera. It also had its name across it too.
Canon.
It might have been Canon actually, yeah.
夏の訪れとともに数えきれぬほど繰り返され、その翌年もその翌年の夏も繰り返され続けた家族の至福の光景。訪れる人も絶え、潮騒のつぶやきの中にありし日の家族の情景を
I think it's not she can't, as far as I know. The element of they keep convincing her to stay.
Oh.
Well, everyone but the mother wants her to be around, so.
I guess that's the audience listening to her.
I guess we've never had an audience reaction before.
元気にしていた犬丸。こそおやつれになったわね、あなた。タミコ。
おいおい、中途半端はそのぐらいにしてもらおうか。四田民子さんですな。私、
有限会社吉本金融の室田文明さん。
なるほど。蛇の道は蛇、バックがついていらっしゃる。まあ、それなら話は早いってもんだ。息子さんの猪丸君はそちらのお嬢さんと合わせていわば人質ってやつでしてね。無論いただくものさえいただければお返しで。
If there's anybody in the show that's smart enough to figure out this whole situation, it's gonna be Mom.
息子は返していただくわ。そのためにいいえ、すべてに決着をつけるためにこうしてやってきたんですもの。
あ、いや、タミコ、実は
己は黙って家を出てから4ヶ月と2週間、私はただ虚しく時を過ごしていたのではありません。あなたや
They said she was also completely absent from episode 2.
元の秩序を回復すべく、この娘の正体を暴く努力を重ねていたのです。その成果を引っ提げ、こうして戻ってきた以上、今までのような無軌道な展開はもう許されないわ。真実を見極め事態の収拾を図るためにも、これ以降の進行は不詳この四田民子が仕切ります。
It's a stage play, you gotta use everything, right?
昭和62年5月、青森県八戸市の小早川家に道下長男の諸子を名乗る少女が現れ、同日より同居。 同月20日、同家次男の養女として入籍、その後同女の処遇をめぐって次男夫婦口論の末、別居、後離婚。同年7月、同家三男、同女を伴って出奔、現在に至るも生死不明。昭和63年1月、東京都福生観光編で死亡した動画スタジオの経営者、布山裕二。
Are we proving that she's a shyster or that she's from a different family?
その場を大混乱に陥れ、そのまま逃亡。同年3月、盲腸肥大症で自宅療養中だった名古屋市在中の声楽俳優柴山茂雄38の自宅を、同氏が学生時代に交際していた女性の忘れがたみと称する少女が訪問。
Shyster, got it.
看護中だった内縁の妻、見舞いに訪れていた愛人を巻き込む激しい口論となり、興奮した同氏は布団の上で抱っこ。
Ah.
40日
And that's- oh my God. Wow. That's one way to go.
九州小倉。同年10月、沖縄県石垣島。同年11月には北海道苫小牧市。翌2月、サンフランシスコ日本人街。
The Japanese district of San Francisco? Oh, I guess Little Tokyo. There is a Little Tokyo in San Francisco, yeah.
この謎の少女の訪れるところ、破壊と混乱が渦を巻き、彼女を受け入れた家庭は文字通り血で血を洗う。
But she's got the birthmark, though.
離婚、出奔、一家離散。そう、彼女こそ家庭に対する純粋な悪意そのものに他なりません。その赴くところ、反目と裏切りの出資をまき散らす家族の敵、家庭秩序の破壊を目論む永遠のアナーキスト。それがこの少女の正体なのであります。嘘だ。
Again, the birthmark, though.
でっち上げだ。陰謀だ。
発言は私の許可を得てから行うように。
Also, what she get out of any of this?
山田犬丸君。
彼女が血縁詐欺師であると、天才的家庭小町であると、そう仮定したとしてですね。ではあの男は私が手にかけたあの室戸文明なる人物は何者なのでしょうか。
Yeah, who's the time detective?
孫であるという事実を否定するならば、自動的に彼がタイムパトロールであるという事実をも否定することになるが、それでよろしいか。
タタラバンナイ君。
まさにその通りであります。時間犯罪を摘発すると称して彼女を追ってやってきた室戸文明なる男こそ、実は彼女の共犯者に他なりません。近未来からタイムマシンを買ってやってきたなどというとてつもない設定に対する疑惑をもっともらしい企業を作り出すことで昔。
But what does she get out of it? It's like, again, all she does is work for them, basically. Does she cheat her way into the household to become a servant?
これまたペテン伊賀様の常套手段であり、虚構演出
Break up the family?
であります。
To what end? These aren't like, they haven't been well-to-do people. They were nobodies.
存在しないという事実が判明したこともこの場で申し添えておきたいと思います。そう。そこでそして時代の推移を眺めてるあんたの答え。
山田犬丸君。
はーい。今回の一連の出来事はすべてあの二人が仕組んだ悪質な茶番であると、虚構であると、すべてが我が家に家庭崩壊をもたらすためのあざとい演出だとするならば、ではなぜ先ほどよもたけの人間が一堂に会し束の間の再会を喜ぶ、すなわち家族のちぎりを確認し合う一幕があり得たの。
Well, the mother,
こ
obviously.
れは明らかに彼らの
She's been off screen a whole episode setting shit up.
矛盾であります。その点についてはいかが？
結果論ですよ、結果論。彼らの筋書きになかった私という人間が介入した。はい。予想外のファクターが外装されることによって、結果的に
す
みませんよ。
だとしても、そうであったとしても同じことさ。すでに状況はあんたの言う彼らの犯罪、家庭崩壊の企みを成立させやしない。
どういうことなの？
考えてもみろよ。マロコが俺の孫じゃない、赤の他人だってんなら、
If what you're saying is true, I could fuck this girl.
男と女のドラマとして俺とマロコが結びつくことになればそこから新たな家族の物語が始まるんだ。それがなぜ家庭崩壊のドラマなんぞであり得るんだよ。
It would also be the difference between the story ending and the story beginning, as per the previous interlude.
家族であることに違いはないんだ。この新たな設定が受け入れられない理由なんかどこにもない。そうなった時、この物語から弾き出されるのは誰なんだよ。バカな話さ。今さらマロコという非現実的存在を否定しようと肯定しようと、あんたに残された道は出番を終えた役
Accidentally wrote yourself out of the story, if true.
脇役としてとどまるかの選択でしかないんだ。作詞作に溺れる。あんたは自分の仕掛けた罠にはまったんだよ。閉ざされてあるべき家族の葛藤劇にあんな部外者を招いた報いさ。
The only time I'll agree with him, they broke the symmetry of my board by introducing another character.
強引な設定で始まり、手詰まりを重ねてきたこの物語に、それ以外の展開があってたまるか。
そいつはどうかな。お前は一人重要な人物の存在を忘れている。今まで何度となく語られていながら未だ姿を見せぬある人物。登場と同時にこの物語を根底から震撼させることになるだろう。ある
You'd assume they're talking about the dad.
Well, the time cop.
No, they already talked about the time cop.
その男の名は
臨時ニュースを申し上げます。3日前の8月15日、千葉市郊外の郵便局にメタルヘッドのドライバーで武装した中年男が侵入し、現金500万円を強奪して逃亡した事件について、千葉県警は犯人を
Did the dad steal a lot of your money? Yep.
本当かよ、おい。
ここに来るところを誰かに見られてチクられたんだな。どうする？もうじき
Maybe that's why he's wearing the jacket, right?
逃げましょう、ひいおじい様。今度こそ一緒に犬丸おじい様もひいおばあ様もさあ早く。
タミコ、犬丸、仕方がなかったんだよ。これしかなかったんだよ。
They sold the place that they were living in, like, last time or something like that.
しょうがないか。
ちょっとなんでまたそんな結論になるんです。今まであんた方何を話してきたんです。今さらそんな展開に乗るなんて意味ないじゃありませんか。
意味なんてそんなもの初めからありゃしないさ。
I mean, that's true.
それが
家族だから。
Again, we haven't had audience participation before, so that's the weird part for me.
I guess.
Well, I don't know what to think now. They established pretty elaborately before that she is from the future.
That would explain the whole thing with the ostriches taking the child somewhere else. If that's the theory that she goes into these other families and takes the child that she pretends to be.
To be fair, I already forgotten that I had said that it's your job to figure out what that meant, and I'm glad that you did on your own. I'm more hooked on the element of, again, the fact that it was pretty well established, again, only by a birthmark, but that she was from the future. Again, motive, right? What motive does she have to break up a family just to be a servant in a house? And now there's a competing theory. So, I don't know what to think. Again, what is her motive? But it does change the motivations of the characters around her if she isn't from the future. Well, it doesn't change the mother's motivation. And clearly the dad has just been on his own fucking thing for a while, to the point where he's a well-known bank robber, I guess. but it certainly changes his. Oh,
海の犯罪者集団となり果て逃亡生活を続けるよもたけ一同追い詰められた彼らを待っていたあまりにも凄惨な物語の結末とは次回ご先祖様万々歳第5話一連卓章にこうご期待
yeah, the Coke advertisements are getting smaller. Literally, I mean, most of the screen was a Coke advertisement before.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, thoughts?
As a meta story as a meta study on story is interesting. That's it. That's like I'm more curious about the commentary and what they're trying to say about story elements. Like
Nikon was the camera, by the way. Sorry, not interrupt. I just found out Nikon was the camera brand.
Nikon. Nikon. Or Nikon. I don't know. Just Japanese pronunciation. Probably got it both times wrong. That I think that's what's fascinating, right? Not the style, not the actual story of her coming to the family, but rather it's like, oh, we're all aware that we're in a story. How do we proceed from that? Right? It kind of reminds me of those play called 7 Characters Looking for an Author, right? They're so self-aware of what's going on. They're like, well, we set up a ridiculous situation. Where do we go from here? Right? I like that. That's what I like. I can't say I was laughing and it didn't make me laugh. I didn't find anything funny.
I think if you had been on the journey so far, there might have been continuing story beats that might have been humorous in themselves. Again, the juxtaposition of the mother thrown from the family, who's angry about it, hires a detective finds stuff, has them all arranged to meet on a beach.
Yeah.
And then calls out the fact, like a story character would, right? Oh, the beach where families meet up together. And then no one's reacting because they don't put everything together yet. So says it again, as though calling out for somebody who would know.
Yeah.
Again, the juxtaposition of all the characters of the family is the humorous bit. Or, as I pointed out, the indication to the guy who just wants to sleep with his granddaughter that, hey, if you're right and she isn't part of our family, one, you become narratively unimportant and will exit the story. Thank you for writing yourself out, Mom. And I get everything I wanted. Pretty funny.
And I mean, I don't. I just find it a meta commentary. It's like, oh yeah, that's how you write the story, right? That's
here's the thing. What you're describing is what I best remember from a epic rap battle of history. The George Carlin versus Richard Pryor rap battle, where Richard Pryor describes his comedy as, people bowled over, holding their stomachs, whereas George Carlin's style of humor is, that's funny. I feel like that's what you're describing right now. Is, I understand it. It's just to laugh.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not gonna laugh, but the same way that I use LOL most of the time. I'm not actually laughing. I'm just, you think this is funny, so I'm going to type out the funny response.
I mean, again, I'm not saying I'm fascinated by this. That's what it is.
Well, to
also
be
the
fair,
whole thing about the not funny but intriguing in the let's have like a 1-minute description of what the sun is, which is not important right now, but still,
or was ever, in fact.
Yeah. That's a joke from Airplane for people who are not keeping track.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, it's a better review than you gave Durarara. So,
well, Durarara had an entirely different ambience to it. It's supposed to be this mystery. There were some funny parts when the guy just beating up people and flying off, but the whole thing with the sister and the when they went to the murder aspect that he killed his stalker, I'm like, you're expecting me to take this seriously, and I'm trying to, but I don't have enough to, It's
Again,
not
they're
like
all
what happened.
elements of stories that you've just been dropped into. So
Yeah.
I guess at an outside perspective, it's very much it's a look into how good are these stories if you're gonna just drop somebody into the middle of them.
But some stories are not designed to be dropped like this. This one is because it's the commentary is so meta that we're really telling you, oh, this is what's happening. We're aware of it. Do you want to keep on watching? Like, I guess I want to see what happens next, right? Right. And how that layer, that meta layer, combines with their actual actions. Like, hey, I took out a loan. Oh, I'm working this shitty job, right? And the fact that the guy mentions that there's that the loan chart doesn't exist, right?
Which is again, you're looking at it from one angle, and I'm still like figuring out the narrative of it, which is to say the mixed angle of the meta, I guess, of is this a guy playing a bunch of roles as a stage play guy, or does the role that he's playing not exist because he is that same guy?
Again, that's intrigue. I find that not funny, but certainly intrigue.
I find the fact that you find things not funny to be funny, and actively actually just laughed because of it. So your lack of humor is hilarious.
I guess I'm playing data to whatever character you're trying to play right now.
I don't know. Most people encourage data to humor. I guess Will Wheaton's mom in the show.
That would be Dr. Crusher.
No, actually, no. She gets thrown into the water. Who are the people in Generations when he shoves her into the water that tells Data not funny?
Riker. It's Worf, Riker, Picard.
No, Picard's off on the front of the ship doing something else.
Yeah, and who else?
I'm probably Beverly Crusher in this scenario. It's the only time everyone's ever said, I want to be Beverly Crusher. So, because I feel like one most likely to understand emotion and then to find something funny and then tell somebody not to laugh at it. Beverly Crusher.
Okay.
Sorry, not Beverly Crusher. I meant Deanna Troi. You said Deanna. I just told you Beverly Crusher's in the water. Why did you say Beverly Crusher?
Because I was thinking about because I knew somebody was missing and I didn't know her name.
Everything I just said, Deanna Troi.
Yeah, because she's the empath.
Yeah, because everything I just said about Beverly Crusher makes no sense. She's in the water for one thing. Also, this stuff doesn't apply to her. Unless you mean a romance.
No, I don't mean that.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking to the general public. Whoever's listening to this.
Yeah. So, yeah. And the obvious product placement. Either Coke paid for this show to be made, or they're like, we don't care.
I have literally no idea what the connection is.
Yeah. Or they're just going to plaster it all over the place.
There's been more Coke advertisements than Nikon. Nikon has what?
The one.
Well, no. I believe the blimp was Nikon as well. So they've had a building and a giant blimp, and Coke has had a Coke machine, a bunch of cans, and a number of billboards.
The art style kind of reminds me a little bit of Akira.
Okay.
Especially in the facial structure.
If I close my eyes.
The secondary characters specifically. But only just. The Akira was far more fluid in their movements.
The only way I could see this looking like Akira is in the same way that I could spot the Federation territory on a Xeon map, as I described in a Gundam episode we just recently recorded, which is to say cross-eyed and from back.
Yeah. Oh, it also reminds me of a 2000s video game for Nintendo. It's also very weird because it's a sort of...
Well, a 2000s game for the Nintendo would be a late publish, so I don't know.
Danganronpa? No, I think Danganronpa was the
I know that name, but I don't think it's a Nintendo game.
I think that was Sony.
Or are you talking
No,
Nintendo as a company and Nintendo as a system?
No, I think either Nintendo or Sony. It was a Japanese game. But I think the Rampa was about the rapping dog, so no.
I don't think so. That's Parappa the Rappa.
The Rappa, yeah.
Danganronpa is something else. I never watched it, but I've seen the name like 1,000 times. And it is a game. It's the one with the half white, half black bear. Who I've also seen.
No, it's not this. It's something else. I don't know why I'm thinking about that.
The series primarily surrounds various groups of apparent high school students who are forced into murdering each other by a robotic teddy bear named Monokuma.
Yeah.
Did not know what that was about. Now I do. That actually sounds interesting. More interesting than the images of the show ever made me feel.
Yeah, I know. That show is weird, but it's also a video game, I think.
Also appreciate that the first Reddit entry is why was Danganronpa so popular and what killed the hype. Now I'm less interested.
Started strong, then went weak. Anyway, I mean, I like it. But again, like I said, I like it in the meta sense of like, okay, you're all hyperly aware that you are in a story and are actively trying to change that story for yourselves and everyone else, right? Because that's what the mother was doing. She was like, oh, I will set everybody on the stage so that, and literally that's why they were pushing the whole card. It's like, oh, it has all these mics so that everybody can hear me saying these things, right? And then the voice from above was a couple of police who were like, oh, yeah, we're looking for this guy. He's like, hey, I got the money, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Of course, now we're on the run, so oops.
Yeah, I mean, there was a disparity between the amount of money owed and the amount of money stolen.
Wasn't it both of them 5 million yen?
No, he stole 42 million yen. And I thought the kid owed 15 million yen. Something like that. Either way, that wasn't the same number on both ends, even if I got one of those wrong. Even if I got both of those wrong. My point was that there's a disparity that he stole a lot of money, and he didn't owe that much money also. There's no chance he stole that money for the kid. The kid left him behind by himself. He had sold his house already. He's off on his own shit. Dad's on his own thing.
But now that he was there, he was perfectly willing to pay. It's like, hey, I got money. I can pay off. That seems to be the reason why he was there with the money. I
think he was just trying to say something. I don't think he was like, hey, I'll pay. I think it was, hey, I'm here. You guys are ignoring me. I know his character. His character is not that guy. Yeah, well, I don't know. It's not helpful. He is sitcom dad guy. So it's not, I mean, again, I already described to you how him and the son got into a fight with a baseball bat and a golf club. Like, dad keeps getting in the way of him and the granddaughter having a thing. He actively ran away from the household with his dad to live in like an apartment where he borrowed money. So, yeah, I don't think his dad was there to help. I think it's more like, I'm on the run from the cops. I can't hang around here very long. Hey. That's what I was saying, though, about the element of the show of maybe not needing to know a lot of stuff from the last couple of episodes. Like, literally, I just told you they ran away from the home before, or they borrowed money. You don't actually need to see the scenes to know what's actually happened there. But they do set up a little bits here, so it's mostly self-contained.
You know what this feels like now that we're going to bring it to the 21st century?
Fully.
Feels like, what we're doing right now. In a sense that it feels like somebody took a reaction video and animated. Like, oh, hey, let me animate the things. Or like when somebody's playing a video, because I was watching SF Debris. And he videos about Dragon Age Inquisition. He only did 3. He hasn't done any more. And he's playing the game, but also doing commentary on he's doing a mixed commentary where he is both playing the character.
Yeah, I do. Right? I watch that all the time with SWOTOR for him.
Yeah. And also commentating on his experience playing the game, right? That's kind of mixed thing. And it's like, this kind of feels like that. Like somebody took that kind of commentary and animated it. It's like, oh, let's animate the story of a guy who's aware that he's in the story and is both playing a character in the story and also making commentary on how he is involved in the story.
It's kind of like the GM of Harmon Quest. He's both the narrator, but when they animate it, he's also in the story with them, talking to the characters. All right, well, final thoughts?
Intriguing.
All right, well, I mean, there's 2 more episodes of it, so you'll at least see how it ended, even if you don't see how it started. All right, well, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Lessons, we've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?